Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about specifically the the new definition of TikTok. All right, so TOC, yes, so TOC, TOC, tank originating countries, and TIC, tank impoverished countries. I'm convinced that the best way to understand the military shape of the current modern world is tanks. You just have to look at tanks. The reason why I'm doing this is we have an incredibly complicated international scene, and it's hard to understand it. And actually, just so you're aware, people are trying to build artificial intelligence. You know what's hardest for them to do? Summarize stories. There's so much layered conception in it, and like language and meaning and purpose and emotion and intellect and dreams and reality, right? Like summarizing stories is, and so we have an actual story being told right now in IRL by Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky, and the rest of the world are just viewers. They're watching this epic battle between a global hero and a global villain. It's literally that simple, right? But when, once you start digging in, it seems complex. It's not complex. We live in a TikTok world, okay? And I'm going to give you the new definition of TikTok. So it is Tock, tank originating countries, TIC, tank impoverished countries. Get this. There are only four tank originating countries in the world, okay? By my definition. I'll explain why. So you're like, wait, what? That seems crazy. No, it's not crazy. It's here you go. Here, let's get into it. All right, tank originating countries. There are only four. There is the United States of America, there is Russia, and there's Germany, and there's one other country. And those countries are tank originating countries, like full, balled out, real tank originators, okay? So what does that mean, right? It means that not only do they make tanks, but they actually make tanks, right? They make so many tanks that they're crusty, dusty old tanks. They don't even use them, right? So basically, they're old, crusty, dusty tanks. They just give them away. They give them away. They sell them, right? And that's a tank originating country, a country that makes so many tanks. They make tanks so frequently that you have this situation where their tanks are. They're all there. They're all like actually, they make tanks so frequently, so well, and in such huge volumes that they literally just give away or sell their surplus, right? Now, and then you have tank impoverished countries. Okay, there's 195 countries in the world, okay? 4 are tank originating countries. 191 are tank impoverished countries. And you're like, wait a second. So there are at least 180 countries in the world that have never made a tank. At least, okay? Never made a tank. They just never manufactured a tank. They can't, right? Like they're not capable of it, right? Then there's you're like, wait, Scott, there's other countries that make tanks. You're right, right? Here, I'll give you a list. UK, Israel, Italy. There's a few others on the list, right? These are tank dabblers, right? These are people who make tanks. They made 1 or 2 tanks. The tanks suck, or they just use them in their own country. They don't surplus them. They don't sell them. They don't give them away like Christmas gifts, right? They're like, oh, get rid of that dusty, crusty, old, stupid tank. We got a new one, right? And we'll have another new one in a year, right? So those are tank dabblers, and I just shove all of them into the tank impoverished, right? So it's a TikTok world. It's a tank, originating countries, and it is tank impoverished countries, which include the tank dabbler countries, right? Like countries that made a couple here and there, maybe a couple hundred, maybe as high as a couple hundred. Maybe they had a prototype, whatever, but there's really only 4 countries in the whole world that make tanks. It's the United States of America, it's Germany, and it's Russia, and one other country, and they have so many that they literally surplus them, right? Like, they're like, ooh, I don't like that old version. Like, yeah, the green on that isn't the right color. Let's ball out and make a new tank, right? And it really divides the world. And once you understand we live in a TikTok world, a world with tank originating countries. There's only 4 of them, okay? And then tank dabblers who all get shoved into the tank impoverished countries list. We live in a TikTok world, right? And it just helps. And I'm really fascinated by this because it really helps to understand who can actually wage war. Not many countries. There really ain't that many on the list, right? It just simplifies things. That's my opinion. What's your opinion? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.